Think about this for a second. You flick a switch, and boom, light. You plug in your phone, and it just comes back to life. It's so fast, it feels like magic, right?
But is it really magic? I mean, we perform this little miracle dozens of times a day without even thinking about it. So what's actually going on behind that simple flick of a switch?
Well, let's pull back the curtain, because what's happening is an incredible, unseen journey. We're talking about something that crosses hundreds, sometimes thousands of kilometers, all in the blink of an eye. This is the story of electricity in India.
All right, so where does it all begin? Well, our story starts with giants. I'm talking about massive power plants, scattered all across India's amazing landscape, from the coast to the plains to the deserts. This is ground zero. This is where that very first spark is born.
You know, what's fascinating is that no matter how different these plants look, they mostly work on the same basic idea. It's a simple three-step dance. Step 1, harness some kind of energy source. Step 2, use that energy to spin a giant wheel, that's a turbine. And step 3, that spinning motion gets a generator going, and that's what actually makes the electricity.
And this is where you really see India's incredible diversity in action. We use everything. We're burning coal in huge NTPC thermal plants. We're harnessing the raw power of rivers at dams like the Sardar Sarovar. We're soaking up the sun in Rajasthan's massive solar farms. We're catching the wind along the Tamil Nadu coast. We're even splitting atoms at nuclear plants like Kudankulam. So many different methods, but they all have one job: spin those turbines and feed power into our national grid.
Okay, so we've made all this electricity. Awesome. But now we've got a problem, a big one. This newborn electricity right out of the generator is actually pretty weak. It can't travel very far. So how in the world do you get it across a country as huge as India without it just fizzling out? Think of it this way. Trying to send that low-voltage power a long way is like trying to push water through a really, really leaky hose. By the time it gets to the end, there's barely anything left. So, to fix this, engineers came up with a brilliant solution. They send the electricity through these giant things called step-up transformers. They're basically powerful amplifiers that crank up the voltage, packing the energy super tight for its long trip. And when I say they crank it up, I am not kidding. We're talking about boosting the voltage to insane levels, sometimes as high as, get this, 765,000 volts. That is a huge number. This basically supercharges the electricity, giving it the muscle it needs to travel for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers with barely any energy loss at all.
So now our supercharged electricity is ready to hit the road, and its road is what we call India's high-voltage superhighway. These are the massive transmission lines managed by the Power Grid Corporation of India. You might know them as PGCIL. You've definitely seen them, right? Those giant metal towers marching across the countryside, connecting the entire nation in this huge, incredible web. It's this web that lets power made in one state light up a home clear across the country.
Okay, but hold on. There's a catch. That 765,000 volts is great for travel, but if that kind of power hit your house directly, whoa. It would be, let's just say, incredibly dangerous and destructive. So for the last leg of its journey, this raw power needs to be calmed down. It needs to be tamed. So as the electricity gets closer to our cities and towns, it starts making a few pit stops. These are called substations, and inside them are step-down transformers that do the exact opposite of what we saw back at the power plant. They start bringing that massive voltage down, step by step, making it safer and way more manageable for our local streets. This last little bit of the journey, this is handled by your local guys, the distribution company, or discom. They're the ones in charge of all those wires and poles you see on your street. And that final step, it often happens in a little gray box perched on a pole right in your neighborhood. That's the last transformer, making the final voltage drop right before the electricity flows into your home's meter. And that's it. The journey is complete. Just think about it. From a giant turbine spinning hundreds of kilometers away, across that high-voltage superhighway, down through city substations, to a transformer in your neighborhood, and finally to your wall socket. And the most amazing part? This whole incredible odyssey happens in less than the blink of an eye. It's practically instantaneous. So, you see, it's so much more than just turning on a light, isn't it? This invisible, constant river of energy is a monument to human ingenuity and incredible engineering. It's literally the force that powers our modern lives, fuels our country's growth, and delivers progress, comfort, and opportunity right to our fingertips every single second. So, the next time you go to flip a switch, just pause for a second, because you're not just turning on a light. You're the final destination of a magnificent, invisible cross-country journey.
So the real question is, what will you see? Just a plastic switch? Or will you see the amazing miracle hiding in plain sight?